Hi guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave, episode 8. Today we're going to be doing some hamburgers. Actually, no. We're going to be playing Burgertime. Now, Burgertime is one of those games that obviously was an arcade game first, like most of these classics, and was ported over to many systems. But I'm focusing right now on the 3 systems that I think that this game was really excellent on. So the first one I'm going to be showing you is the Atari one, which is, it's kind of neat. My favorite, the Intellivision one, and ColecoVision, because, Coleco came in at that right time, just when the graphics were getting a lot better for these older systems. So definitely have to showcase that one. And just as a treat, Diner, which really isn't Burgertime, but it's the same characters as in the Intellivision one anyways. It's the same kind of look and feel, same kind of enemies and stuff, but you just don't make hamburgers. So let's put them all together, make a burger. Okay, let's fire this guy up. This is the Atari version of Burgertime. First thing to obviously notice is the graphics aren't as pristine as you'd want them to be. You can make out the stuff. You can tell that white thing is an egg. You can well, I guess if you know what it is, anyways, you can tell the little wheelie guy there is the sausage or the hot doggy thing. And the peculiar thing is that everything looks like buns. So it looks like you're just making a big bun burger. But well, anyways, let's get this thing going here. Oops, just sprayed some pepper. So, if you're not familiar with Burgertime, you're pretty much a chef who has to run up to the top of the level here and start to drop down these pieces of burger. Now, in a more graphically pleasing version, you'd be able to tell that some of them are buns, some of them are the patties, some of them are the meat, or the pickles or whatever, everything that you can drop down, the tomatoes, and you're just trying to run away from these enemies who want to, I guess, eat you, stop you from making hamburgers for whatever reason. It's a very bizarre game. It's really creative in a sense, especially when it came out in a time when things like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong were big, right? To have a game where you make hamburgers. Like, I worked in a Wendy's myself, so I made hamburgers, and it was not this fun, so this is actually kind of an interesting game. First off, I can tell you, though, the controls are a little stiff. That's one thing I'm noticing. It could be my controller. I'm using a classic Atari controller. But I'm just noticing that it's kind of slow, it's kind of stiff. And the one thing I do have to say about this is it does kind of have the same level design. Now you'll notice also that at the bottom there, the hamburgers are starting to look like actual hamburgers. So for whatever reason, I guess the graphic capabilities, maybe the designers ran out of time, I don't know, for whatever reason they couldn't make the middle pieces look like that on the top, but they can make them look like that on the bottom. And something just appeared there. I think that's supposed to be a root beer or something. It's hard to make out these graphics. They're a little blocky, so you kind of need the manual. I don't have a manual, I just have the cartridge, but I kind of know what's going on. But yeah, so this is a good perspective of how the gameplay is, and I'm just kind of running around here. I'm not actually seriously trying to beat this. I don't know what that is that's chasing me, so I'm just going to run away from it. Anyways, so this is the Atari 2600. Not bad. For the graphic capabilities, not a bad game. And it looks like the arcade. Okay, now we hit the Intellivision. Right off the bat, you can tell that the graphics are 10 times better here. The color scheme's better. Everything looks like it should. So you see that you got the hamburgers, you got the egg, you got the pickle guy, you got the sausage guy. You can even make out the ketchup. So it's a actually pretty decent version. And this one, frankly, was my favorite version when I was a kid. So let's get this thing going. So like most Intellivision games, you select your players. I know there's different speeds as well, but I'm just going to go on this first one here. Now, you'll notice too that the level design is much different. This doesn't look anything like the arcade version. In fact, I didn't even know, when I played this as a kid, I didn't even know that the arcade version looked different. This was the only one I was exposed to. But you could tell, like, this is much better gameplay, and it looks authentic. It looks like the actual version of, you know, short of the level design being different. I mean, it feels like you're playing Burgertime. You can tell you're making burgers there. And the sound is just, it's awesome. I mean, this sounds good. This sounds like a video game. It sounds like you're playing Burgertime. Now I'm just being chased all over the place. Let's just squish them anyway. There we go. Now, as I said too, you do have your pepper weapon, which is a little more fluid in this one. Oops, just got eaten. You have to make sure when you use that pepper, you spray it in the right direction. You can't just shoot it. Okay, just got one more bun to show you here. See if I can pepper this guy up. There we go. He does his little dance there. Then you go on to level 2, which it's starting to look a little similar to the arcade, but you know, it's not the arcade look. But I guess, you know, they had to fit it into the Intellivision's graphical capabilities as well, so they probably didn't have, you know, they didn't want to shrink it down, they didn't want to lose graphics, so they probably realized they had to redesign the levels. But, you know, it's still cool, it's still a fun game. I love this version. So as I said too, this is Diner. This is it's kind of a rare Intellivision game. I think it came out, well, it says 1987, so that right there tells you how this is a rare game, because the later games, they didn't make too many of them, and, you know, we're way past the video game crash here, and it's surprising that they still made games for the Intellivision at this point. Unfortunately, when I bought this, I didn't have any manual. I looked it up a little bit, but I was just, you know, I knew this was the sequel to Burgertime, so I thought, you know, this is cool, I gotta have this game. I haven't yet explored the levels on it yet. I haven't really spent much time on it, but I just wanted to give you a little showing of how it looks, and you can tell right there that, you know, it's the same chef, it's the same hot dog guys, wiener guys, whatever you want to call them. I believe with this you have to kick this ball. It's a really weird game. Like, I don't know what those are. Right? Maybe they're meatballs or something. I don't know. But you got to kick them down and get them into that tray. Looks like there's a root beer up there. I don't know if that guy will hurt me or not. Let's find out. Yeah, he hurt me. And I mean, it's a fairly interesting game. So I think if you have an Intellivision, it's definitely worth picking this thing up. I just got the pepper guy. It's different. It kind of reminds me of Marble Madness for some reason. Or, you know, if Marble Madness and Crystal Castles met Burgertime. Kind of neat. I don't understand the ball thing. I don't know what I'm doing here. And it keeps to the same kind of graphical look and feel, which I thought was nice. They didn't try and reinvent it or try and change everything around, and kept it nice and simple. I guess he got tired of making hamburgers. The sound effects are different too, which you know, that's okay. It's a sequel, so why should it have all the same sounds, right? Yeah, it's a pretty neat game. I would suggest it if you can find a copy, and it's fairly rare, so it's, you know, it might cost you a little bit of coin, but I think it's worth it. And last but not least, we have ColecoVision. Let's try Burgertime on Coleco. Okay, so what do we have here is a much, obviously, more graphically pleasing than the Intellivision now. You got more detail, the buns have more detail to them, they're not just like one solid color. The egg is a little bit more three-dimensional looking, I would say. He was kind of on a slant. Sorry, my Coleco's kind of messing up on me here, but you know, it's an old system. I have to expect that to happen. The only thing I can say about this one is the controls are a little bit stiffer. That's why I like the Intellivision one, because the controls are much easier. But otherwise, I mean, it's the same game. It's the same idea. You're running around, you're dropping the buns and everything. Still a good game. Still fun if you have a ColecoVision. This is definitely one of those games you have to have on it. And, you know, it's got all the same things. It's got the pepper. This one kind of reminds me, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the Commodore 64 version. I might be wrong, though. But yeah, it's the same game, and it's still fun. Still burger time. And there you have it. All three burger times on 3 classic systems. If I was going to pick one, I would definitely pick my favorite, the Intellivision one. I think that it nailed it. I think that it had the perfect sound, the perfect gameplay. It had the the graphics were just right, just enough to understand what it is. It's a little easier. I would say that this version is a lot easier than when you try the Atari one. The Atari one's a little bit trickier, and the Coleco one too. The Coleco one I thought was, this one out of all of them probably was most similar to the arcade version. The level design a little bit different, but it's ColecoVision, and that's what they did. Coleco said, we're going to make games that look or feel like you're actually playing the arcade. Whereas Atari, they kind of said, well, we'll try and make the game as graphically possible, to fit into the system. And some of the later ones were not bad, but definitely Intellivision nailed it. And they complemented it with Diner, which is an original, unique game on its own. And if you can get your hands on one, like I said, they are a little bit harder to find, but awesome. If you find it, grab it. Anyways, thanks for watching my video. Subscribe, and hope to see you again soon.